as being large picture two-pole realities in the space-time continuum, where light, matter, energy, take your pick, three different ways to say the same thing, are gushing out of the quasars. And on their journey, they're playing a game or dancing a dance, they're interacting with each other, and ultimately disappearing into the black hole. And from where this talks, when they disappear into the black hole, they come right back out the quasar and do the journey all over again. And where we are in time is along the ride of this. As the photons come out of the quasar, they make copies of themselves, they interact with themselves, they play the game that they play, they become everything that we perceive as stuff of the universe, including our bodies, ride that ride, and disappear into the black hole again to do it all over again. So there are reasons why we have this two-pole perception. It's just that getting lost here, getting stuck here, again, is somewhat of the trouble of this place. I have a few of these to show you along the way of this story that I'm going to show you next, and these are just some symbols that we know from different belief systems, different religions that coincide with these different dimensions that I want to try to show and explain to you from this model. You may all recognize this yin-yang symbol, and again, this is a symbol of differentiation, and so a second dimension perception from where this talks. If you ask somebody what this means, the usual definition is something they call universal opposites, and so just once again, a way to say something different from something else. The ultimate definition we're still after here is consciousness, and so when we get to second dimension, we evolve from consciousness to awareness. And in this picture, awareness is being represented in exactly the same way as I've been showing. And when we talk about awareness, we talk about something where I have what's in the front of my mind, so what I'm aware of, and what goes to the potential of the back of my mind, which I become unaware. In fact, I can even lose this piece that goes to the back of my mind. And so a very crude way to say this from this model would just be to say that I have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. So a conscious mind and something other than my conscious mind. Because ultimately, when we get to third dimension, my subconscious mind will evolve to include an unconscious part of my mind. So let's just move on to third dimension. And as usual, I'm going to start with the model that everything is based on, that says when I get to third dimension, what I have is a space-time gravity experience. Another way to say space-time gravity, if you've been following any of my other videos, is the synonymous past, present, and future, which is something that we would more all be able to identify. When we take light from first dimension, evolve it to second dimension where it becomes protons, neutrons, and electrons, and then one more order of magnitude to third dimension, we come to what we ordinarily think of as matter, and also what we ordinarily think of as events. And so in third dimension, when we follow the model through this far, events become our reality. Ultimately, the definition we're after here for all of our dimensions has to do with consciousness. And when I evolve consciousness from first dimension to second dimension of awareness and reach third dimension, I reach identity. I also reach what we just talked about, where my awareness has become conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. So three parts to a self. So this is just another way to say the same thing here. From symbols that you might recognize if you're familiar at all with my cards, a symbol for identity, three parts to a self, all connected, and I have yet then another of these interesting symbols to show you, and this one in particular seems to evoke strong response in some people, but I can only suggest to you that this is nothing other than a symbol representing your own identity, a symbol representing where we are in space-time gravity, staring into that mirror that seems to cut everything into three pieces. So we've got three sides to the triangle, 3 points to the triangle, and us looking into that reality. I can only suggest to you this symbol doesn't mean anything else but that, at least from where this model talks from. So when we evolve identity, one more dimension. So we've gone consciousness, we've gone awareness, now we've gone into identity. We come to a place where it's possible for us to actually have many identities. And so fourth dimension becomes a reality where there are actually many versions of reality here. And I'm going to try to explain what I'm showing on this diagram just a little bit. In a minute we're going to evolve this one more dimension to spirit dimension, and in spirit the symbol looks like this. And what this is saying, and this is only one version of an explanation of fourth dimension, that from spirit we choose to enter this place. We choose to arrange the pieces of our DNA. We, in fact, do exactly that and rearrange pieces in this place. In space-time gravity, within this universe, we may all be familiar with the concept that says nothing is ever created or destroyed. It only changes form. And so shape shifts, if you will, from one form or one version to another. This is saying that from spirit I could choose to arrange my pieces any of number of ways in this place, and so there very well could indeed be a Dave in the Pleiades living a life on a different planet in a different paradigm than this one. There's clearly a Dave here on the Earth because he's talking to you right now, and there may also be other versions of Dave, and I have this represented on this picture as dark alien. In this case, dark only means something that is so alien to my ability to conceptualize that I actually can't conceptualize, and so it is experienced by me as being alien. And yet there very well could be other versions of me out in this universe, in what you call right now, that are me every bit as much as I am me, but just me with my pieces arranged in a different way. So other ways to say fourth dimension, one of them might be many worlds, which is what I have represented here. And another way to say that might also be many realities, a place where many outcomes of events actually do occur. Things that are possible do indeed happen simultaneously, just in different realities. And if we want to go and look at this in slightly other ways besides alien life forms on other planets, this is also a place where many lifetimes become possible and quite possibly real. And so the possibility of past lives and future lives happen here in fourth dimension. I'm told to consider the possibility that even our own dream world might be a step into fourth dimensional reality, because it is a reality slightly different than the one we normally know of as space-time gravity. And so big picture in fourth dimension, we're mostly talking about possibility here. And so fourth dimension becomes a place where many possibilities actually become real. And so if we move on from fourth dimension, which I've already given us a glimpse of that, we move actually beyond the confines of time. And so from this model, time actually extends in possibility into the fourth dimension. But if you leave the fourth dimension, and as the crudest of examples, let's say you die, the place that this would say you go to when you die and leave the time dimension is something that I think of as the spirit world. And so a way to say that here is fifth dimensional reality. This is the place where we may have indeed chosen to enter time, chosen to arrange our pieces in a certain way, chosen what we had the power to choose from a fifth dimensional perspective. And so fifth dimension, spirit world, also is a place where we actually enter a many dimensions reality, because we've left the time dimension here and entered something different. And fifth dimension also happens to be a place where we have powerful choice compared to what we experience here. And so a way to say what happens in fifth dimension is that choice manifests. And one more picture I want to show you about fifth dimension, and I'm going to ask you first what would happen if I were to make these all in communication with each other so that they're all talking to each other. And what would I get as a picture of that? And once again, I get another one of these interesting pictures that we have from belief systems and religion in this place, commonly called a pentagram. And so, from where this model talks, this symbol means or represents fifth dimensional consciousness, or what I think of as the spirit world. And so if I'm going to ask you first,